Down out. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the best of the Elks Call Season 2. I'm your host, Scout, aka the rep from Section X, and we can't thank you enough for tuning in to our show. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons as your support means everything to us here at the Elks Herd and Shotgun Sports Network. All right. Today, we will be giving you the best of the Edmonton Elks Part 2. If you listened earlier on, right at the beginning of this series, you would have gotten Part 1. Now we've finally made it to Part 2, so very, very exciting. Now, this episode is brought to you by Royal Retros. Save 10% off on CFLPA merchandise, throwback jerseys, and more. And you're going to use code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces, to get that 10% off. And you're going to use it where? Over at royalretros.com. They are the throwback kings. Very awesome merch over there. Now, we did finish off the year strong on the show. The Elks also finished the year off strong as well. But in 2024, we were very, very fortunate to have members of the Double E on our show to talk about many topics. These convos tell a great story about the team that started the season 0-7, but managed to pull it around in the second half. In this part 2, you're going to hear from Jake Taylor, number 13 for the Edmonton Elks, who was going through a bit of an injury when he joined us on the show. After that, we interviewed Jake Julien about his crazy walk-off rouge to end the season, along with many other topics that pertain to his record-setting season. And then we're going to cap this show with our interview with Nick Anderson, talking about his most outstanding rookie season in 2024. Now, we do have to give a very special thanks to Hernan Salas, Mike Arcuri, and the Edmonton Elks for making these interviews happen. They definitely don't need to approve the players to join us on this show, and they do. So really, really thankful for the Double E and their support with the Elks Call. But without further ado, here are the best conversations of the year from the Elks Call. And today we are joined by number 13, defensive back for the Edmonton Elks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Jake Taylor.
What's up?
Jake, thanks a lot for your time today, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, man, always great to see you. I know we got a good chat in there at Fan Day. I mean, despite you being on the 6th game, how has the season been so far?
It's been good. I've really been enjoying watching McLeod out there. He's been doing our offense pretty well. But yeah, I'm loving the culture this year. Things are definitely looking up for us. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's kind of what we've heard from a couple of the players now. If we've gotten the chance to talk to a couple players, and everybody's saying the same thing. There's a different aura around the team this year.
They're feeling it. They're feeling it this year.
Yeah, we definitely. Last year, there's just a lot of the guys were new to the team, so we're finally building a good culture this year. So.
Oh, it's cool, man. I mean, you're part of it, so really cool. We really appreciate you joining the show today, Jake. We're gonna dig into this show in a moment, but first, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're watching on YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or Facebook or X, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts. While we're here, if you could hit the like, subscribe, or favorite button, we would greatly appreciate it. Today's lineup for another stack show is as follows. We're going to open up with the More You Didn't Know with Jake Taylor, talking about his life on and off the turf. Then we'll dig into Kathy's Herd Report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks transactions and news. Following that, we'll give you an Edmonton sports update, and then we'll cap the show with the Fan Forum, where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. So be sure to blow up the herd chat so we can get your comments and questions onto the show. Let's kick it off with the More You Didn't Know, brought to you by the Winnipeg Terminal. Catch the flight with Mike and Joe every week, talking all things Jets and Bombers on Shotgun Sports Network. Wheels up. So in this segment, we're going to talk to Jake Taylor about his life on and off the turf, his experience with the Golden Bears and now the Elks, and a little bit more. So once again, be sure to blow up the herd chat with your questions and comments. We definitely want to get them onto the show. Question number 1. Jake, you're a Alberta boy hailing from Beaumont. You came up through represent. You came up through the Alberta football system, and now you're a pro football player for your hometown team. Can you give us the Coles Notes version of how you got here, like your beginnings in football all the way to now?
Yeah, no, we actually moved to Beaumont with intention for me to play hockey. And then I was 5 years old, and my dad missed the sign up for hockey by like a month or something. And he knew had to put me in a sport that year. So we ended up going out to Leduc every day to play for the Bobcats there, and then spent, I think it was about 9 years playing for Leduc and Leduc minor football, and then went over to Salisbury. I knew they had a more competitive football team than what Beaumont and Leduc had to offer. So went out there for the 3 years of high school, and then got a bunch of options leaving high school, but I chose to stick with U of A. Coach Morris always was having my back and helping me with workouts and stuff throughout high school. So I stuck with him. And I had a good time at U of A. It was really cool being part of the flip of that program. And then I was just itching to. Coach Morris told me that I was playing in East West Bowl, and that was like, wow, like I've really been doing good in ball. And then after that, I was just training hard to get to the CFL. So did the combine, tried out at the combine, and then I actually we were hoping that I would go bottom of the first round, and in that range, the Elks didn't have any picks, so I was prepared to leave Edmonton. And then as the draft went on, my name wasn't getting called, and then I knew Edmonton had the territorial pick, so I ended up landing 18th to the Elks, and that was surreal. My family was pumped. We were all crying and stuff. It was great.
So then,
I could imagine. I could imagine that. Like, can you imagine? And I'm just thinking of the kids, of my kids.
Yeah.
If in your hometown, and they
it was so cool too, because my parents, their first date was going to an Eskimos game, and then after, when I was about 5 months old, they took me to an Eskimos game as well, and then it's kind of full circle.
So you grew up a Double E fan then?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I bet that was that. Yeah, I bet the emotions on that day were
Like, yeah,
absolutely high, just all over the place.
It was crazy. They I have on my Instagram, if you want to look, I have one of the highlights for the stories was the draft day, and you can see all the videos that everyone posted and stuff. It was pretty cool. So we were all emotional.
I think that's every kid's, dream, right? When they grow up in a football family and they stick to their hometown, that's pretty much a dream to be able to draft to your, local CFL team.
Exactly. Yeah. Stayed in the same colors as I did for university. Got the same number as well. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome. But let's go back a little bit more to your university time, your time with the U of A Golden Bears. Of course, they've been really successful, with their football program. Like you mentioned, you came up through the experience with Coach Chris Morris. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the current U of A program, what they have going on, their season, and your time there as well?
I had a great time. It definitely was a shift in my life. I came into that program as a boy, and I'd say I left. I'm still growing, but way closer to a man than I entered. And I loved the culture that we had. A lot of the guys, I always went to the camps, so all the guys that I was calling Coach Reggie, Coach Shaden, were now my teammates, and yeah, I loved being part of it at the start. Um, I'm a little sad that I missed that run that they just went on this last year. But yeah, they're gonna be looking pretty good this year. They got Matthew Peterson coming back, Jonathan Justini coming back, and oh, Shin went back as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, they got some major pieces that are coming back. The only guy that left from this year's draft was Tyshawn to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, I think they're set to go on a pretty good run again this year. They did. Coach Rick Walters just left, though. He is going to York University, so it'll be interesting to see how their offense runs.
Yeah, I guess with a new coach, but
well, exactly.
They got all the same offensive weapons. Nothing will be changing for them this year.
Well, they have their playbook, so if at least they have what worked last year.
They got the playbook and the same tool belt. So.
Exactly.
Well, and Eli is only in his second year, I want to say. Is he in his second or third?
This will be his third year.
Yeah, this will be his third. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Eli still has a little bit of time left, right? Playing with the U of A Golden Bears, and that might even elevate his game towards the CFL. So I guess that's a question I have here, Jake. What was that transition like going from U Sports to CFL? Like, what was that change of pace like? What was that experience like?
How I would say, for me, so I left high school as a linebacker, and then I did majority of my first season at U of A as a linebacker. When I moved to DB, I felt like I was physically I matched up to everyone in that first year, but I felt like the mental piece is what really I needed to work on in that first year, and it worked out for me. But moving forward from Bears to Elks, I'd say the mental is another big step up. But now I'm not as fast. I'm not the fastest, quickest, strongest guy on the field. So I've really been having to make the mental reads and sharpness way faster, and then I have to rely on my technique so much more. So one thing that last year Brandon Isaac, our DB coach, said is when things are getting hard in game, don't play harder. You gotta rely on your technique harder. So that's something that I've really been realizing over these last 2 years.
If we've heard that before, I think it was Rick Sertella when we were talking about what he looks for, in prospects for the CFL when he's looking for somebody to bring in. And I think he brought up that the mental aspect of it, seeing that somebody would be able to mentally handle it beyond the physicality, because everybody can train for anything. Everybody can, really practice and become better at their craft. But if they don't have the mental capabilities, then it's not going to work.
No, yeah, it's and the thing is like defensively, it definitely takes a big step up. This year, we have checks that could turn into 8 different plays. But in university, maybe we'd have like 2 plays that could actually have a bunch of permutations. So, yeah, it's getting in the playbook is definitely important in the next level.
So, how does it feel different now that you're past that rookie year? You got that out of the way.
Yeah. No, I am very fortunate that we had Klund and Shives come in. They've been great, just teaching us, but they also kept a lot of the same things that we were doing last year. So it hasn't been like we've been learning new things rather than tweaking the rules and stuff like that. So I've really been able to catch on quick to what we've been running this year.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's say it's game day and Jake Taylor has to get ready for the day.
Uh-huh.
Do you have your traditions? Do you have any superstitions? What's a day in the life of Jake Taylor on game day?
I like to French toast. French toast for breakfast. Wherever it comes from, I'm getting fresh toast for breakfast. Uh, I like to I like to kind of just chill, whether it's in the hotel room when we're away or at home. I like to just stay at home. And I usually watch Cam Chancellor highlight tape. That's my go-to.
Nice.
Yeah, that's about it. And then I don't live too far from the stadium here, so I enjoy my walk over. And yeah, I like to dress good, and that's about it. Not too superstitious.
Perfect.
You know
Yeah.
what? Even those little things, right? I always like to say that perhaps it's not so much superstition, but it's the routine, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
just used to it, and it feels good if you just keep that routine. And if something changes, then you feel out of sorts. And you
Yeah.
know,
Well, there was a
so,
popular number 13 in town that after game day, I believe the next morning I believe it was the next morning. It was always Route 99 for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Michael Riley. So like
uh,
same thing, right? Everybody kind of has like that one thing,
yeah.
but some take it over the top of superstition. Like you see Connor McDavid wearing that same suit
Oh,
walking
that
in and
no.
stuff. So
Yeah.
always gotta ask.
You know what? It's okay. I'm okay with it. As long as it brings good luck, I don't care what people do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no,
As long as they're ready to play.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, now we're getting to some of the funner questions, more, or our curiosity.
Yeah.
Who is the toughest player in the league that you've had to go man to man with?
Man to man. So in game, I haven't had anyone stand out too much that I felt that I had a hard time against being a gunner on kickoff, or that changes a lot. If I was to say DB wise in practice, I'm gonna say Swerve is the guy. Swerve is the guy to beat when you're doing one-on-ones for the Elks. That guy can move. So
There's a reason why he's called Swerve.
Swerve.
yeah, Swervo.
Yeah.
He can move. He's quick. You got to make sure you close your space on him because he'll shake you real good.
So other than Swerve, is there anyone else on the Elks?
I'd say Gino. Gino's Gino's interesting because you'll feel like you're in the right spot. You'll feel like you're doing the whole thing right, and then all of a sudden he jumps up 15 feet in the air and catches the ball, and then you're like, damn, like I really wasn't in the right spot. So Gino and Swerve, I'd say, will take the cake for that. This year, Hergie's been doing pretty good in our one-on-ones as well. So he's been standing out.
Nice. Okay. Well, and I mean, in that last game, he also stood out pretty good too. So
Oh yeah,
completely understandable. That's for darn sure.
adds up. Yeah.
Is it a little bit different when you guys are practicing, your one-on-ones, that when it's actually, game time? Do you see a little bit of a change even in the demeanor of the players? Is it more like friendly, happy during practice, but then game time is game time?
I'd say you know what? I'd say that it's a little bit more like we'll be talking a little bit more. It's a little bit not friendly kind of for one-on-ones in practice. Guys will be going at their necks, but when we do sometimes we'll do like the one-on-ones after practice. Jones likes to get the practice roster guys doing that, and that is a bit more fun and light, probably because it's at the end of practice there. But in game, it's kind of, unless your character is that you like to talk a lot in game, then not as much talk goes on. So
Yeah.
What
bit more laid back.
we see it and we're like, I wonder what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and a lot of the time too, I think that just because one-on-ones, as a DB in the DB's defense, it is a 2v1. So the quarterback is going to force the ball and maybe put it in some unreachable spots for the DBs. So a lot of the time, the quarterback might see that DB in the spot that he was in the one-on-ones, and he's not even going to throw that route. So things are a little bit different, but yeah, the uh, guys are talking in practice a lot more than in game, I'd say.
Interesting.
I could
Okay.
see
Yeah.
it.
At least for the Elks.
Yeah, everybody's focused, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah, well, and I mean, the whole chirp talk part, you do a little bit more chirping and it's a little bit more serious on game day, but it's not quantity, it's quality out there,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, so outside of football, what else do you get up to? What does a typical day in the off season look like?
Right now, I've been playing a good amount of Call of Duty. Me, my dad, and my cousin, we like to play Warzone, so we've been getting some dubs lately on that. Um, really, being across the street from the stadium is nice. We'll have some teammates come over, talk ball. My girlfriend is here she's in town, so I'll go on a date with her, hang out with her, maybe go for a walk. But other than that, in season, it's all go.
Yeah.
Practice.
Oh, exactly.
Gym, tan, laundry. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's the life.
And when it's not that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take a nap.
Listen, I would too. I think we've seen a couple of practices, and it's exhausting just looking at you guys practice.
That's what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah.
you guys definitely work hard for that, right? So yeah, it would be
Even the walkthrough days, I'd say, are almost more draining than the actual like day twos, just because you're standing there, your brain is going the whole time, and you can't really sit down and chill at all. So the walkthrough days, I would actually pin as some of the more exhausting days.
Wow. Yeah, I could see that. But all right, I'm just gonna throw fast questions at you, and the first thing that comes to your head, okay? So, what's your favorite food?
Cinnamon buns.
Does that count as food?
Yeah,
dessert counts as food.
That's a food.
Edible.
Edible. Things that you can eat. Color.
Red.
Your sport outside of football.
I'd say skateboarding.
Nice.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've not heard that quite ever. I
No.
think.
Yeah.
Favorite movie.
Creed.
Nice.
Nice.
And your favorite song right now? What can you not stop playing?
Shiesty Summer by Pooh Shiesty.
Nice.
You're kind of over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Oh wait.
Yeah. There's always Pooh Shiesty playing in the locker room. So.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, that celebration last year. You guys sellied in the locker room, and you were on live on Instagram. It was so good.
Yeah, against Hamilton.
Yes, that was that first win.
That was a good one.
That was the first win.
That was a good
Yeah.
one.
Well, okay, so since we're here now,
Yes.
we're talking about old stuff. I do get my bonus question in. Man, can you tell us about what it was like to break the losing streak at home? Like, bring us through that moment.
It was great. As a guy that has been witnessing it and cared about it before even being on the team, it was like just off the shoulders. I would have, even if I got drafted somewhere else, I probably in the back of my head would have been rooting for the Elks to get rid of that. So yeah, it was pretty good to be a part of that, and I'm hoping that I'll be a part of a flip of the culture and wins and everything for the team. So it was cool.
Oh, Yeah, I cried.
He definitely
Yeah.
he did
Yeah,
cry. I'm pretty
it
sure there
was.
were quite a few tears around in the stadium. It
Oh
was
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I have never experienced that in a stadium before.
It
Um,
was awesome. It was like everyone was getting all hyped up about it. Yeah, no, it
Well,
was sick. Standing on the bench, I was throwing my arms up. Let's go, let's go.
well, and the players too, right? And that's the thing that people forget about is that the players in the locker room also like they were at the forefront of it all, right? So
Mhm.
they have to hear all the noise on the outside. They have to be reminded. You guys have to be reminded of the streak and this and that and blah blah blah. And you got the organization trying to do great things outside of the stadium. Unfortunately, the wins aren't coming, and it was frustrating in those moments, breaking the streak. Couldn't imagine what it would have been like to be you guys out there. And even just to see you guys celebrating, like I said, celebrating that win in Hamilton, and you guys popping off. Like, I went to the Instagram live. I was like, yo, Jake Taylor is live. He has just gotten off the field. This
Yeah.
has to be like, I somehow knew. So I flipped it on, and then, all the posts that were following, and it's hilarious. And that goes to show too, like, the fandom is still here for the Double E. The fandom
Oh,
still exists. The fan base is a passionate one, just because they're a little bit salty about last year and the year before,
well, but
whatever.
that's the thing, right? We are a passionate one,
Very
so
passionate.
there's like when
of
there's
course of course there's gonna be some when people care and we're not doing good. There's gonna be some embarrassment, of course. So
Yeah.
as now that we shook that off our shoulders and the team is looking up this year, we got something that the fans can definitely come together for. So it's going to be cool to see, especially with what the Oilers are doing right now. Hopefully, we can pull together a Grey Cup run for you guys.
that'd be
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
City
Bring
of Champions,
City of
baby.
City
Champs.
of Champions. This
City of
is
Champs.
this is actually part of the city collection. This is a U of A
Oh yeah.
Golden Bears colored Oilers hat.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So I don't know if you have like this
I'm
actually.
gonna I'm gonna need to, yeah. You gotta text me the link where you got that.
I I
Around.
I will most definitely.
That's
I
cool.
guess last question. I do have one last question. You being on the other side of the fence, you being part of the organization, what's your thoughts on the 75th celebrations? What do you think of everything the organization did with the 75th?
It's really cool. Being at the like dinner gala was just like a really cool thing. There was a lot of the guys coming in from the States might not understand that football really is a big thing out here. And like for them, even the guys that are just coming from the States, they might not know how big this is. That walking into the tunnel that was covered in all the players and like graphics and everything, and then there's just a room of like 2,000 people cheering for us as we're walking in was sick. And then we had Warren Moon, Ricky Ray, Mike Riley, all the big name guys that came through the program were there. It was pretty sick. So I'm really happy that they're commemorating all the years of the Double E, and I'm pretty proud to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, growing up a fan, being a fan, how exciting was it to meet some of these great legends?
it was sick. It was weird. Like I was just really sitting at that dinner, and it was just like I was thinking. What I was thinking about was it was at the Shaw Conference Center, and I remember when I was in third grade, I was 10 years old, so it was 14 years ago, or it might have been 13 years ago. I forget exactly the year, but the Eskimos were in the Grey Cup, and there was the big Grey Cup breakfast that was in the Shaw Conference Center there. And I remember being a little 10-year-old kid going and just thinking it was like the coolest thing ever. And then now I'm a player sitting in that exact same hall. So it was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be
that's so
surreal.
cool. That's yeah, exactly.
That'd
That's completely surreal. Heard chat. We have a yo and a let's go there. Let's go by Redman J. So we do not have any any extra herd chat questions today. So Jake, we will let you go, but man, can't thank you enough for joining us tonight, man. This is
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Oh,
Yes, it's always nice asking those like personal questions. Let's get to know you a little bit more. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, totally. And some fun questions about football and whatnot as well. It's it doesn't always have to be serious. So man, the serious part is obviously you are on the 6th game, so we really hope that
Yeah.
you heal up well. And we
Yeah.
definitely hope to see you on the turf as soon as possible, my man.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, no worries, man. We hope you have a great night. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a good one. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Jake.
Bye.
So that was Jake Taylor, number 13 of the Edmonton Elks. That was awesome. That was sweet. He's
Yeah.
always a good chat.
It's cool. I mean, not. I don't want this to sound bad, but usually the guests that we have on, they're a little bit more mature. They've been, playing for
Older,
a long
yeah,
time.
yeah.
They're older. They have a lot of experience. So it's super cool seeing a young guy coming in and realizing his childhood dreams and just, like that's
Please welcome to the show, Jake Julien, punter for your Edmonton Elks. Jake, thanks for joining us today, man. How does it feel to have the world, including Barstool Sports, talking about that walk-off punt from Friday night?
It's pretty cool. I don't think it's still hit me quite yet. I never really thought I'd have a walk-off punt. Just like it was a crazy night. It was a great win.
Oh, it was awesome. What are the odds that it's against Liram Harlahu, who did like the same thing a couple weeks previous, right?
Yeah. No, I was talking to Boris about that. We had a pretty heated debate in the locker room about the Rouge ending the game, and then came down for us too.
Oh, it was so good. It was like a movie. Haven't seen anything like that. One of the most exciting games I've ever seen.
It was a wild game.
It was wild. This is one of the few that Kathy has missed since being an Edmonton Elks fan. It's way she goes.
Hey, I still watched it just from home. And you know what? It was a chilly one, so I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, let's get into this, Jake. We always like to get to know our guests right off the hop. What was the sports memory that started the path to where you are today? What was maybe that pivotal moment?
It's a great question. I mean, I grew up a big soccer guy, so I played soccer my whole childhood, and then found out I wasn't really good enough at soccer to pursue that too much further. So making the switch to football, my dad was a huge Seahawks, still is a huge Seahawks fan. So just I remember watching him watch the games and just getting so crazy about them, and that watching it was funny. I broke John's record, but growing up watching John and watching, I think it was Hauschka, the kicker at the time, just thinking like, yeah, I could probably do that, but like not really realizing that one day I would actually be doing that.
Oh, that's really cool. So, I mean, in your head, you're like, well, punter's kick, I guess that's pretty similar to soccer. So I'll give that one a go. Was that the train of thought that you had there? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I started off as a kicker. Wasn't a very good one. I was the guy who would make the 55 and then miss the PAT. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to see it come full circle.
Oh no, definitely. We do have a question up ahead about the John Ryan comparison there,
but for now, you grew up as a Canadian kid and went down south to play for the Eastern Michigan Eagles for 5 years. What was it like playing down south, yet hours away from home?
It was interesting because I was separated from basically everyone I knew, just by a border. Right, I could drive and see all my friends whenever I'd wanted to, but it was having the border there kind of made it a distant relationship, even though it was so close. Eastern was great to me. I mean, like it's really the place that I grew up, and it holds a special place in my heart.
Oh, that is sweet. No, and I mean, and it's my mom had brought me out to the Sioux there a while ago, many years ago, right? So I have gotten to hop across the border, but you are right. You're completely cut off in that sense, right? It's got to be, especially when you're just like mere hours.
Yeah, I mean it's so close, but it's so far at the same time, because if you really want to make the trip and go see each other, you got to get the passports. You got to make sure you got everything in order, and it's more of a trip than just driving down the highway.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. No,
It's true.
exactly. Now, speaking of down south, you did spend a bit of time with the New England Patriots as well. You didn't quite make the roster, but you did try out with the Jets and then the Patriots again. So, how did that experience help you as a punter, especially with, the direction you're going right now?
Yeah, so if Eastern kind of turned me into the man I am, New England definitely turned me into the pro I am. Just being in the building and watching guys do their thing, watching guys like Nick Folk or Matt Slater like go through their process, what it's like to take care of your body, what it's like to like really just be a pro. Like, because the transition from college to the NFL or the CFL is it becomes your job, and it's like you don't have to be there every day. You get to be there, and that transition of this is how I'm going to feed my family, this is how I'm going to make a living, really opened my eyes to what matters when you are a professional.
Crazy. Now, I do got to ask, was it weird trying out for the Patriots after you were already on the other side of the glass?
It was interesting because I was there with four other guys who were also getting worked out, and I just kind of walked around the building. I got pretty close with everyone because I was there for 6 months in the summer when nobody else is. It was
Right.
just the there, right? So I'm walking past all the hallways I used to walk down, and I'm like, I'll wave to the nutritionist because I was pretty close with him, and just wave back and pretend like he didn't see me because they don't want the workout guys interacting too much with the team. And it was a cool experience to get back in the building, but yeah, it was interesting.
That is that
Would
would be
be.
quite because the division, right? Once again, it's just like the Canadian and American
Mhm.
border, same deal.
It's like
Like you
you're still
said,
rivals, but you're still friends. So you gotta like what do you do in that sense? But let's bring it back to the CFL a little bit. The Red Blacks drafted you, but ultimately went down another direction when it came down to finalize the roster. So you made your way to Edmonton to begin this chapter. Have had you ever been to Edmonton before you were signed?
No, so the furthest west I've been in Canada is probably Windsor. I never took a trip, out west. So it was funny. Me and my wife we were joking around about it when we were kind of figuring out how it was all going to play out, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to be in Ottawa for long term. It's like, I mean, everything out there is pretty nice, just not Edmonton. Like, because in my head I pictured it as just oil derricks and wheat fields. Super flat and a pop-up stadium somewhere. I had no clue. I remember hearing about the Double E when I was growing up and just how like dominant they were for so long, and I knew the names Mike Riley and Ricky Ray, but I had no clue what Edmonton was like as a city. I thought it was just gonna be just fields.
Fields in an oil derrick. I love it.
that is so good. So then,
No, that's a sketch one.
yeah, exactly. But I guess what the next question would be to build upon that. What was your first reaction like getting like, let's say, like like a full couple days? If you like once you got a little bit settled in, like obviously you have your initial reaction, but let's say like your first week, like what did you do? What did you get up to?
I mean, coming off the plane, it was basically exactly what I expected. Because the airport's pretty far out of the city. I didn't know how close we were to the stadium and downtown, and I was just like, was texting my friends. And I was like, guys, it's exactly how we thought it was. Like, but the closer we got to downtown, like me and my wife both, we really fell in love with the city. Like, it's just so, especially in the summer months, it's so beautiful. The river valley and just the whole area, the pulse of the city. It's a really sweet place to be.
That's good. That's nice. It's always nice hearing those kind of. I'm not from Edmonton as well. I'm from outside of Edmonton. From outside of the country, really. And I came from Mexico City, and I had the same kind of idea when my parents were like, "Yeah, we're gonna move to Edmonton." I'm like, "Where's all the people?" But it really grows on you. It really does. And yeah, now we absolutely love it.
No, and then it's funny too because yes, when when you get off the plane and you drive up the QE2 there. Yes, there are oil derricks sitting on the side.
And a lot of fields.
Yeah, oh yeah. We haven't braved the winter yet, but like the summer, it's just so beautiful. It's long days, lots of sunlight. Like it's awesome.
No, totally. No, and personally, I think if I were to move anywhere else in Canada, it'd be Winnipeg. So, I mean, I have weird taste, but it is. We hear that often from players and alumni. Like people fall in love with the charm, people fall in love with the summers, right? So it's cool to hear that you're another player that's fallen in love with our big city here in Alberta. But speaking of Edmonton, you came into Edmonton taking over for John Ryan, who had retired the year before you came to Edmonton. So, you know, from the day that you came in to now, you've somehow smashed his average punting yards record of 50.4 yards. You've now posted a 54-yard average for 2024. Who would have thought? Especially with Rob being a really, really big Seahawks fan.
Yeah, no, it's so cool how it all kind of played out, because when I got up here last year, I was kind of curious, like, what did the team look like? Who's on the team? Do I know any of the names? I checked the roster for the 22 season. I saw John's name there. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, I didn't know he played up here because I didn't know his history growing up. I only knew he played for the Seahawks. And just finding out his path and how he played in Saskatchewan for 2 years and then had his whole NFL journey, it was really – it was the immediate, like, hey, like, I can still play some NFL football. Like, I just have to do things right. And it's really cool how it's all playing out.
Oh, for sure. Dad must be proud. That's for sure.
Yeah. They are very proud.
Oh, I bet. The entire family, your wife, everybody. I mean, especially, you know, bringing in records. So that's super cool.
We just simply haven't seen anything like this. And I mean, the fact that you actually beat John Ryan's record, and John Ryan is, you know, the player that you basically took over for the following year. It's like a movie. It's you know, everything's starting to feel like a movie here. So really special.
Definitely.
Really, really special.
And I mean, last year your average was 45.4. Yet this year you leveled up and broke the average for 50.4, as previously mentioned. So what would you say the biggest contributing factor in your improvement was this year?
Yeah, I mean, last year I really got rookied. Like, it just hit me like a bag of bricks. Like, I'm no longer in college. I can't survive off of Wayback Burgers. I can't, like, just stay up late at night playing video games and then show up at the building and do my thing and then expect Saturdays to go well, right? So this off season that just passed, like, the big focus was being the pro I know how to be. Right. And that's not just showing up early or like doing a couple extra kicks. It's how I go about my every day, how I go about my life, like structuring my life around becoming the best punter I can be. And it paid off. I mean, it worked out. But yeah, just really, it wasn't a secret pill or magic formula. It was really just like, I knew what to do. It was doing it.
It wasn't like a punters hate him. Discover the 10 reasons why Jake Julien is smashing these records. It wasn't anything like that. No gimmicks.
It's just hard work. You get down and you do the work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. But how about we get to some fun questions? Because I'm sure you've talked quite a bit of football already, and you might be talking a little bit more this off season. But yeah, let's take a look at it. Like, let's say a game day for Jake Julien. What does that look like? Do you have rituals, or is there any standard game day practices?
Home games, it's almost always Albert's family breakfast. It's on the west side of downtown. I'll get a huge breakfast from there, and then I try my hardest to stay away from any rituals or routines, because that was another thing in college. Like, in college, I needed to sleep this much. I needed to do this the day before. I needed to do that the morning of. And it became like a trap, like, where if I didn't do these things, I knew I was going to play poorly. and I don't know when it was, but I just kind of realized like I don't need anything to play well. I just have to show up. So getting a big breakfast that tastes really good, and then showing up to the stadium, and obviously I gotta get ready, I gotta stretch, I gotta warm up and everything. But yeah, just great breakfast and relax.
It's awesome. And then what about like for the off season? Let's say, about a week or two from now, you're all settled in.
Just a regular day.
What's a regular day?
Jake Julian's
We
day.
me and my wife got our second dog, so we gotta, right when I get back to Michigan, we gotta train him on the electric fence. So it's gonna be that's gonna take up a lot of my day. But a regular day, I mean, I'll wake up, I'll relax a lot of relaxing, and then I like to, if I'm gonna work out, I like to get out at around noon, and then I'll either go to a field, or there's a really nice dome close to my wife's family's house. So I'll go to the dome, kick around for 2 or 3 hours, come home, hang out. I don't do a whole lot. It's kind of lame. But.
You kick it and then you kick it. I mean, that's I mean, punt it and then kick it. That's you punt it and then kick it.
No,
okay.
Sorry, I was just distracted by the horrible puns that sometimes come out of your mouth. But if we were to look at your main Spotify playlist right now, what songs and artists would we see?
It's literally the biggest grab bag you'll ever see. I mean, me and my wife have been listening to on the drive, like mix of hot country, playlist called Play That Funky Music, and then whatever locker room songs that I've saved that I liked how they sounded. So we listened to a bit of Boss Man D-Lo and just basically shuffle. The biggest shuffle playlist you can think of.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like I like variety is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, as long as it's not 100% country.
Yeah,
it's,
I can't do that.
We get a lot of that here.
But there's nothing wrong with having one of those playlists. I have one of those as well, and it gets a little wild.
Just random everything. Well, and in the locker room, you guys were definitely jamming out this season. So I'm sure you got a couple good memories, out of a couple songs there. That's for damn sure. Now we do see some questions in the Herd Chat. We will get to those in just a moment, but we got a Fast Five and then one more question, and then we will get to the Herd Chat questions. So Fast Five, I did not get the exact same ones as we asked Jamin. All right. First question, favorite chips?
Miss Vicky's, the blue bag, the dark blue, sweet chili sour.
Yeah, that is good. Favorite color?
Green.
Video games or books?
Video games.
Car guy or truck guy?
More leaning into trucks now, SUVs.
Nice. And then favorite all-time meal?
Big breakfast. The exact thing I get at Albert's. 3 eggs. Oh, lights just went out.
Nice.
Big breakfast. 3 eggs scrambled, bacon, sausage, cubed potatoes, and then chocolate chip pancakes.
Wow.
That does actually sound really good.
That sounds like a growing boy's breakfast, right?
Sometimes when I don't want to, but yeah.
Yeah, fueled by Albert's, baby. Fueled by Albert's.
Yeah. What would you say? What sports do you watch outside of football?
I still like soccer, but I don't watch it as much as I should. I watch basically every CFL game I'm watching. I watch a lot of NFL, and then in high school I played rugby for 3 years. So I really enjoy rugby. I really like the game. It's not on TV much, but I get the highlights on Instagram. I get the highlights on YouTube, and I'll watch those quite a bit.
What teams do you cheer for? What are your favorite teams?
Which league?
Let's start with NFL.
NFL, I chase my friends. So my best man in my wedding, my best friend Chad, he plays for the Cardinals. I'm watching a lot of Cardinals games right now. A couple good friends. One on the Titans. I'll watch him whenever he gets the chance to go. Really good buddies with the punter on the Lions. I like watching him play. And then I'll catch most Seahawk games just for my dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
I figured Seahawks would be in the mix
It's
just a
somewhere in
little
there.
bit.
Just
Yeah.
somewhere in there. How about soccer?
Soccer, it's literally whatever I watch on TV. I like, you know how randomly when you're a child you pick a team and you have no affiliation with them, but you like them?
All right. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi, Ronaldo, Messi.
Yeah.
My son won't like you, but that's okay. Because I keep saying that Messi is better.
And then he's like, "Go Renato."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I know what that's like as well, to pick a team and stick with them until, they disappoint you over and over. I'm not saying double E. I'm not saying double E.
Whoa.
I'm talking outside of the CFL.
It's aggressive.
There's a particular hockey team that I'm a big fan of, let's say, based out of Ontario.
How about hockey? NHL, do you have a favorite team?
No. I get so much hate for it from my Canadian friends, but not a hockey guy in the slightest. Can't watch much.
No way. Jake Julien is not a big hockey guy.
You know what? I
Can't,
respect that.
can't even skate.
Interesting. And the more you didn't know. The more you didn't know.
Listen,
for a reason.
not everybody has to be a hockey fan, okay?
No, and it's kind of funny. Like after that Oilers run, like I will say, it's there is a hockey fatigue, and you don't see that too often in this city, right? Especially when we've seen everything that we've had to see here in Edmonton with those Oilers. So yeah, I mean, hey man, it's really cool to actually meet a Canadian that is not the biggest hockey fan.
Yeah.
For once.
All right.
All right, let's get to our herd chat questions. Big fan here, 2019. I want to say that's going to be John Kirby. Says, "Hi, Jake. Hope you're back next year with the green and gold." And then he does ask, Jake, what's your favorite CFL team to play against? And what's your favorite CFL team to play a road game in? Klima's Lid also did ask, what's your favorite stadium to kick in? So I guess that'll be a combo.
Let's focus on the first part. What's your favorite CFL team to play against?
Team to play against would... I'm trying to go through them in my head. I got a couple friends on Hamilton, so it's always nice to play. Really good friends with Carthel Flowers Lloyd. Played with him in college, and then I know Mark pretty well, Legio, and then Vedvik is there. He was on practice roster for them. He punted for them a bit last year. I'm really close with Ved. It's really just where are my friends? I love seeing guys pregame, and it's super nice to just see guys still playing ball, still doing what they love, and it's awesome to just see them before the game, see them after the game.
Yeah, we did see that you're always good for the pictures after the game as well with your old crew, right? So that is so cool. And it's really cool to see you follow your friends. I think that's a good saying. Like, hey, who do you cheer for? Follow my friends. Like I got to see the homies be successful, right? That's really cool. So yeah, let's get to Klima's Lid's question, which is part 2 of John's. Sorry, that's why. Thank you for saving me there, Catherine. Other than Commonwealth, what's your favorite CFL stadium to kick in and why?
I love playing in a PC place. The indoor is the specialist dream. No weather, no hot, no cold, no wind, and the locker room there is pretty big. I like Vancouver as a city. I mean, it's just a bunch of wins there. I love playing inside.
That's interesting. This is going to be my first time being in that stadium, so I'll keep that in mind for the Grey Cup.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. We have another question here from John. Jake, if the team were to do an opening season concert like the BC Lions, who do you think the headline for the concert should be?
Who would you want to headline it?
It'd need to be someone who had a bunch of big songs that everyone knew, right? Because if it's a country artist, like half the guys be happy, half the guys wouldn't. Someone like maybe Nickelback. A couple great hits. Everybody knows the music. Get the crowd going.
Even if you hate Nickelback, you still know all of Nickelback songs.
You know the songs, and they can get the crowd going.
Exactly.
Yeah, John Post Malone.
Post Malone.
I don't know about that one.
Hey, you know what? Right in the same line, Creed would be good too. A little bit of Creed for the bros,
I don't know. Bring back Celine Dion. I don't know. Go big or go home. Yeah,
Alrighty. Do we have anything
I
else in
don't
the
think so.
herd
So
chat?
far, that's. I mean, we did have a comment from Sinjin. Let's go, Jake. Definitely lots of love for Jake in the chat.
And
Appreciate
then
it.
From Clemus Rouge for the win.
Rouge for the win. Yeah, that was just wild.
Absolutely wild.
Oh,
So
so
maybe
crazy.
before we let you go, what were your thoughts for that win? Just kind of let us in a little bit more. Let's bring it back. Let's close it with that. Big
We do
Rouge
have
for the
another
win.
question as well.
Oh, sorry.
We should, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, we'll finish with that one. But yeah, no, Jake, yeah, like what was
let's talk about that. Let's talk about this Rouge. What were your thoughts? What was your thought process? As you were going in the field and that happened.
It was a crazy series of events because we went down with not a lot of time left, and my shoes are really tight. So I untied my shoes and I was kind of relaxing. I knew if we went on to kick a PAT, if we did score, like I don't need my shoes tied. It's just holding, just put the ball down. I don't have to run. And then we get to the point in overtime where we have the ball. And in my head, I thought, okay, if we got to kick a game-winning field goal here, I don't want my shoes to be untied in the picture. So I tied them up, and I was just standing near the heater. And then Vince asked me to come hold a couple for him just really quick, make sure we were all good, put down one or two for him. And then as we're running on the field, I'm probably at the numbers. Coach J-Jack yells over and says, "Hey, can you kick this?" I'm like, "You mean like punt it?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, let's go." And I was like, "All right, sounds good." So we ran out there, and I wish I had a thought or a memory of anything, but I just caught the ball, kicked it, and I knew off my foot it was good. So I didn't move, and it went out, and I was like, "All right, sweet." Didn't realize I won the game. I just I knew it was a point, but I didn't know if it counted. Like I was super confused. Everybody was celebrating. I was like, okay, yeah, we did it. Let's go.
And then suddenly it's like, oh wait,
Yeah.
it's a win.
Yeah, seriously, no. Like all the comments are all like, "Oh, what is this Rouge? Like, what is this rule?" And I'm like, "Yeah, me too." Like, I had no clue. I wish I could say like we had planned that and it was from the start. We knew what we were gonna do, but it was just kind of spur of the moment. Can you kick it? And I said, "Yeah, let's do it."
And the celly at the end too, Jake. That celly at the end was amazing. Your cellies, I will say your celly game is on point. I've been following those cellies. You've been booting the ball, and yeah, I mean, just a fantastic season, but more importantly, fantastic end to your season, right? I believe we have you on record as our most consistent player of the season. We've said this multiple times. Definitely deserve, even like I would be inclined to say even an MOP. I don't want to take anything away from Gino, but you put up that kind of performance. So for you to be able to kind of go out on that, and as well, Jarius Jackson coming out and saying that he trusted you in that moment, he trusted you to do that and get those points. It just kind of speaks volumes about the campaign you've run here in Edmonton.
Yeah, no, it was obviously like we would have loved to go to the playoffs and win a couple more games early, but it was selfishly, it was such a great way to finish the year. And I mean, like, just a funny joke that me and Boris had all year was I led the league in Rouges by probably 8 or 9, like far above anyone else in the league. And half of them I'll take credit for. Half of them weren't great placed short field kicks. But I mean, I could not catch a bounce to save my life for the first probably 12 games of the year. That lot on Friday night, I caught a couple good bounces and we were pinning them deep, but I just couldn't catch a bounce. And Boris kept screaming every time I ran off the field after a Rouge, "Mr. Rouge, like most valuable Rouge." And like just ending the season like that, it was a great way to cap it off.
That's awesome.
Totally. Canada's favorite point, as we say. The very, very polarizing Rouge. We know that Milt Stegall particularly could do without the Rouge, but it's moments like that. It's like the most Canadian thing ever. And yeah, like we said, when Barstool Sports is reporting and talking about it, you've made a splash in the football world somehow, some way. And
get a lot of Americans being like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. Did you?
I got a lot of texts.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Yeah, did you get a lot of shout outs and messages?
Yeah, just a lot of like, what is the rule? How does this work? Great job.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
You know what? That's what the CFL needs a little bit more. A little bit more highlights, a little bit more attention, and something a little bit weird like a Rouge that just creates a lot of attention. It's just another way to kind of bring.
The saying is keep it unreal, right? That was a keep it unreal moment. Much like Larry driving the truck through the sidelines. All right, we will let you go here right away. We do have one more herd chat question here, Jake.
Yes.
And do you have a signature or favorite punt if the drop changes things like a pitcher's grip?
Yeah. So punt I've been working on quite a bit. It's called the banana punt. So usually I drop the ball, if I can show you, like that.
Okay.
I kick through it and it spirals, it turns over. But I've been dropping it like that, horizontal. And you kick through the side panel and it goes up. It's a different spin. I didn't get many situations where I could have tried it this year because we were in a lot of close games. And the last thing we need is a punt that goes 10 yards. And coach goes, "What was that?" And I said, "Oh, it was banana punt. Like next time when it works, it'll be really awesome." But yeah, I've been working on that for about 3 or 4 years, and if the situation arises, I have it, and it's pretty cool. Might get a turnover out of it.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
St. John does ask, is that from Johnny Hecker?
I think he's definitely the pioneer of it, but it came pretty organically, just messing around with it, and it went from a line drive to a pop-up to being able to control it to having it spin, it go left, right, then left, and then right, left, and right. So it's evolved over the years. Johnny's definitely the best at it in the league. I think the Jaguars punter Logan Cook hits a really good one as well, and it's growing in popularity. But mine is a little bit more, how would I say it, even just hitting the ball really hard. Johnny's is really technical. I just kind of put the ball out there and hit it in a different spot and just try to swing really hard.
Nice. Hey, and you know what? It seems to have worked out. I mean, maybe not particularly any banana punts, but whatever you're doing this year, man, it's certainly working. You got the technique. You definitely got it.
Yeah, we do. We do have another comment right here. Last comment. Jake was MVP. This season.
Love it. Love it. I almost hit the chair. All right. For our very last question here, we do got to ask Jake. This is going to be a really big off season for you. Very off season is always a very important time of the year for athletes such as yourself. But for you in particular, you might have a little bit of a busy off season. So what is in store? What do you have planned? Is there anything you can divulge?
Yeah. So if I get lucky enough to get an NFL opportunity here, I will jump at it. I will try to take full advantage of it, see what happens. I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. Don't want to speak anything into the world that hasn't happened already, but hopefully I get a good look. We'll see what happens. And then if the off season progresses and that doesn't pan out, it's just looking to be in Edmonton for a long time.
We love to hear that.
Oh, we would
love to hear that.
We would love to have you, man.
For sure. And I mean, obviously the first thing that we want for every single one of our players is to go chase your dreams.
Go get the money.
First and foremost. But if that doesn't pan out, Edmonton's got you. So we will welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, no, it'd be great to have I've always wanted to have a long career in one place, right? I talked to a lot of veteran guys that have played in the NFL and the CFL, and it's tough moving your family all over the place, right? So just having a long career in one place and really making the most of it would be awesome.
Oh, totally. And we'll be here cheering for you. We really want to see you go get that opportunity. So, um, we'll be reposting as soon as we possibly
Mhm.
can and getting that information out there if we do see it, and if we don't, like we said, like you said, maybe coming back to Edmonton. So, no matter what, man, really hope the best for you in this off season. Hope you won up, just like you did in this last one. Your mom, Jessica, and your dad, Rob, really awesome people. They've been friends of the herd for a hot minute now, so it's really cool, man. You have a really really great family unit around you. Uh, what you're building in your own personal family there is amazing, and then of course, you're budding and growing, and I mean at this point skyrocketing punters. So, man, like we said, really really thankful for your time today, Jake. We'll let you continue onward, but we hope you have a fantastic off season. We wish you the best, and we hope you have yourself an awesome night, man.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate you,
so
man.
much. Have a
Cheers.
good night.
And that was Jake Julien, number 9 of the Edmonton Elks. Yeah, that crazy finish on Friday night. One of the
Totally.
craziest games I've ever seen.
And it's always so good when, the player's so wholesome that it's just like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight's guest is number 48 of the Edmonton Elks, but you may also know him as the CFL's most outstanding rookie of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nick Anderson to the show.
Yay. Welcome, Nick.
Nick,
Man,
how you doing tonight? Like, how's the off season going so far?
man, I'm doing great now that you guys have me on. This is the highlight of my day for sure, man. I appreciate you all, bringing me on the show. It's a pretty dope thing that you guys are doing, man, and I appreciate for having me be a part of. The off season has been going well. Back in that mode, back in that everyday training regimen. Wouldn't rather be doing anything else, man. So I'm in a very blessed position.
Hey, we appreciate you joining us today, and it sounds like you're locked in. Then you're locked in for this 2025 off season.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'm always a guy that I hate leisure time, and so when I got back from Vancouver, I tried to give myself maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. I actually worked out while I was in Vancouver at the hotel, but I tried to give my body a little time off, but I just couldn't do it that long, and so I started to slowly but surely get back into that off-season mode, and so now I'm fully hitting it, full workout schedule, meal preps, everything. Like, let's get it.
Oh,
I
that's
love it. I wish that we had that kind of motivation. Totally.
oh, I mean, even you being in Grey at the Grey Cup for the CFL awards, and then of course to take it all in, and you're also working out while you're there. I think that's a testament to how locked in you are. So, I think ourselves and Double E fans love to hear it. Let's get into a bit of your past, though. Question number 1.
Mhm.
From
Okay.
Vicksburg, Mississippi to Edmonton, Alberta, your story features a few twists and turns. To start it all off, when was the moment you knew you wanted to be an athlete?
Oh man, I remember being a kid. My first sport was soccer. My parents got me into soccer. That was my first sport. I remember traveling on Saturdays, going to the soccer fields and scoring goals. And then after soccer, we tried baseball because my dad was a baseball player. I didn't have that same love for the game. It's just something about me not being able to hit the ball with the ball being able to hit me just was a little it was a little shaky for me. So wasn't a fan of that. Played basketball for a little bit. Played basketball for a while. Really liked that. And then I remember, my mom and my granddad and then my dad really putting me into football. And football just always stuck out to me, man. Just the physicality of the game, and just the level to go out there and just impose my will on somebody at a very young age because I grew up I started to be a hefty kid, especially being in the South. So I was bigger than everybody starting off, and so it just was pretty fun, man, just imposing my will and dominating at a young age, playing pee-wee ball, and then I just fell in love with it and ended up sticking to football as my main sport.
Nice. And who was your team growing up? Who did you cheer for?
So my Pee Wee football team were the Vicksburg Packers. So naturally, I grew up to be a Packer fan, and was a huge Packer fan from Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Aaron Rodgers, Charles Woodson, Clay Matthews. Like I could name them all. And then, which is crazy, now playing in green and gold. So it shows like everything comes around full circle. But yeah, I grew up a Green Bay Packer fan.
Definitely. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. The green and gold or the yellow and gold, I guess, but it just it called to you.
Go pack, go pack. Let's go. Love
You would
it.
know it for sure. And high school was a pretty critical moment for your development. You earned Rookie of the Year in 2016,
Mhm.
and you also earned the All County Defensive Player of the Year in 2017. So, what was it like playing for and excelling with your hometown team?
Man, it was great. We grow up in a town where you either go to Warren Central or you go to Vicksburg. Like that's the thing, and it's a big rivalry. And so my parents went to Vicksburg, and so automatically I had no choice. I was a Vicksburg Gator, and so to grow up and play for Vicksburg and really excel each and every year, just getting better. And the more snaps that I got, the more better I got, and to be one of the players that was Warren County Defensive Player of the Year back to back, which had only been done I think once prior to myself, was just amazing, man. It was amazing to know that I had that legacy in a short amount of time during my high school career, and really just sparked that level of holding myself to that stature going forward in my career.
And that's it, apparently with your college career as well. You also stepped it up again, right? You're well known for your college years with the Tulane Green Wave, and we've seen that on social media. We see there's quite a bit of fan support. How did you manage to improve in different ways through each of your seasons?
Just find a way to get better. I feel like I'm my biggest critic. I just feel like every day is an opportunity to get better. Not even just as a football player, but as a person. I feel like every day that you wake up, God gives you another opportunity, another chance to continue to fulfill your purpose. And so I just always challenge myself to get better. In every opportunity, from whether it's day to day, game to game, I always want to correct my mistakes. So I have a level of perfection that I try to chase each and every day. And even though I may not obtain perfection, I feel like consistently chasing it puts you in a position to be at the top. And I just always had a high standard for myself, and that's the story of my career.
Love it.
Yeah, and how would you say that the fan support was in Tulane?
It was amazing. It was amazing. When I really say we have Greenway family, we really have like Greenway family. Like just the way that they support past players, current players, players that haven't played in forever. It's a really close knit society when it comes to the fans of Tulane, and to know that we were able to give them something to now be proud of when they mention that they're a Tulane Greenway fan. It's something that's gonna forever be in my heart. Everybody knows me, knows that I love those fans, because the way that they embrace me, the way that in culture, the city embrace me, coming from Vicksburg, Mississippi, and being somebody that knows about Southern hospitality, to go down to New Orleans and have a new family outside of my intermediate family, it was a blessing.
Yeah, that's so cool. And there's always something to say about college football too, that it just blows my mind, in the US that we don't necessarily see anything like that here. But it really, from the very few snapshots that I've seen on TV and TV shows, it is very much like a family, it feels, with everybody in the town. So one day I want to experience that. I want to go to a small town in the US and go to a college football game and see what
Yeah.
it's like.
You're gonna go to Tulane,
We're gonna
apparently.
go to Tulane.
Hey, might as well, man.
Yes.
Might as well. The Omen Stadium is a place to be, man, now on Saturdays.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, we just might have to. But after you went to Tulane and kind of knocked the socks off of everybody there in 2023, you were signed to the New Orleans Saints, but ultimately you didn't make the final roster on the last round of cuts. So, can you tell us more about your experience with the Saints?
My experience with Saints was nothing but positivity, man. To just have that opportunity to wear the NFL logo in a city that I played college football in a city that I'm not too far from, playing for a team that I watched multiple times growing up, was a blessing. A lot of people get bitter after they go through a situation like that, but I'm one of those people that take every L as a lesson. You know, it was things that I was able to learn while being out there that helped me when I got to Edmonton, that helped my career, that helped my game. And so I just look at everything from a silver lining and was really appreciative of my time there, appreciative of the staff and the management up there giving me an opportunity, a kid from Tulane, a kid from Mississippi being able to stay and play for the home team. It was something that was very, very a blessed situation, and I'm really grateful for them for extending me that opportunity and being in the locker room with guys that I've looked up to for a very long time. Sitting in the meeting room with guys like Demario Davis, Pete Warner, like guys that are doing it at a high level. Like I couldn't have asked for any other type of situation. And even though I was released, the information I was able to retain and learn while I was there really is something that is cemented in me, and I'm gonna take with me for the rest of my career as long as I'm playing the game.
And I think that's really special as well because, like you said, it could have been one of those scenarios where you're looking at it like sour grapes or you're looking at it
Mhm.
like lemons. Instead, it's lemonade. Instead of having a sour look
Mhm.
on pro football, you used it as a step to once again get better. That seems to be the
Right.
the theme with Nick Anderson here.
Mhm. Definitely. But did it did it change your outlook on pro football, or did it make an impact on how you approach pro football?
I wouldn't say that it changed, but it grew my knowledge of the business side of it.
Mm.
Because before going to pro football, everybody that is there and has been through it tells you how much of a business the sport is, but you really aren't able to understand the ins and outs until you specifically go through your situation and you have a situation where it's like, okay, like this is what it is. And so I feel like that was the one thing that I was able to see is just like, okay, aside from playing football, these are the things that I have to be cognizant of, and that's what I need going forward in my career. Just understanding that, you do play a game, but it is a professional game that has the business ins and outs of it.
No,
Mm.
that's
Yeah, that's
that's
pretty important.
no, it really is, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes emotions definitely get in there. And that's
Yeah.
where, once again, right, you could have taken that in an emotional sense.
Mhm.
Instead, you flipped it around and you said, "Okay, no, I'm gonna use this information going forward."
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
that going forward happened to be here in Canada, in Edmonton specifically. That's where you went ahead and continued your professional career. So, did you know anything about the Double E franchise or the city before you signed with the Edmonton Elks?
I knew I had heard of the Edmonton Elks prior to signing. I didn't know much about the franchise or its rich history. I knew about Warren Moon, but I did not know about his connection to Edmonton. I first learned about that connection when I talked to Coach Jones prior to coming, and I was just curious about availability of jersey numbers. And he was like, "Well, what jersey number did you want?" And I was like, "I want number one. Is number one open? I wore number one in college." And he was like, "Well, let me tell you." You know about a guy named Warren Moon? I was like, yeah, I know about Warren Moon. He was like, well, Warren Moon did amazing things in the Canadian Football League. And so his jersey was number one, and that one's retired. So we won't be wearing that one this year. And I was like, man, I was like, okay, okay. Much respect to Warren Moon. I mean, he's a heck of a person, a heck of a player, somebody of his caliber that was able to do it at a high level in the CFL and the NFL. Like,
Mhm.
kudos to him. I wish I would have just got the grace to put on the number one jersey, but man, like it's one of those things like that's so historic, like it's untouched. And
Mhm.
so yeah, like I was learning by the wayside, and that was one of the things that I'm actually glad that I didn't know anything about Edmonton prior to coming up here, because I was able to come up here so open-minded. And so despite everything that had happened with the franchise prior to, I'm looking at the fact like I wasn't aware of none of this. So like let's set the path straight. Let's get it trending in the right direction, because I don't have the negative connotations when it comes to Edmonton. I know nothing but positivity. I've been given an opportunity by Edmonton. So it's like I want to give them the best that I can, because they gave me an opportunity when majority of people didn't want to. And so I came in with that positive and optimistic mindset, like, okay, like this is a winning franchise. Let's work to get that going, because that is what this franchise is built on. And so yeah, man, just coming up into Edmonton, I love Edmonton. I tell, everybody like it's an amazing city. You know, some even people from Canada, when you mention Edmonton, they're like, "Hey, Edmonton, you know, you got Vancouver, Toronto." I'm like, man, Edmonton's beautiful. Like, I don't know what y'all, you know, but Edmonton is a beautiful city. So yeah, like just learning about the culture of the city, learning about the fan base, and just seeing everything when I got up here, it was nothing short of amazing.
Oh, that's
No,
cool.
and I mean, I think people usually hate on Edmonton for the current time of year that we're facing right now and the current
Yeah,
weather.
it's and you know what, and I'll even agree to that because I had never visited Vancouver until the Grey Cup last year, and
Mm.
even then, I walked away from that city loving Edmonton even more. So that's something to say. But you certainly made a huge impact in Edmonton last year. Your most outstanding rookie campaign was indeed outstanding. You tied Niles Morgan for 111 defensive tackles on the season and first overall 116 total tackles. So let's dissect that a little bit. How did Niles Morgan contribute to your season, both as a teammate and a veteran voice?
Man, just that big brother that I needed going into the season with just the experience that he had. Him being the guy that came up here and didn't really know much, but was able to adapt and grow himself not only on the field but off the field in the community. He was a great role model and a great guy to learn from on a day-to-day basis. And I enjoyed playing with him. I texted him 2 weeks ago, and after I got settled in and situated back in the States, and was like, man, we made history. Like, that's special, bro. Like, we will forever have that. We will forever be connected with that. The next duo that's able to do it, they're gonna have to bring our names up in comparison.
Mhm.
And so that really just shows the forever connection that I would have with him. And I'm just forever grateful for him being a part of my life and being a part of this journey in my career. And I know it's likewise on both sides.
Yeah, I mean that was one heck of a campaign. Niles Morgan, it's kind of funny. We've described him as somebody that really embodies the traditional E winning ways, the Eskimos way, or however you want to put it as a double E
Mhm.
fan, right? But it's the fact that he stays in Edmonton in the off season. It's the fact that he pours himself into the community, does all these events. He's truly been through the darkest of days with this
Right.
Mhm.
franchise in recent history and everything. And to see you guys team up and do that together, you come in one of the greatest fresh talents that we've seen with the organization in
Mhm.
a hot minute. That beacon, like we talked about before we went live, and for you to team up with him, both of you tie in the defensive tackle stat at 111. It's just crazy. Like even Paul Lapalisse was him and I had a brief exchange there in Vancouver. And he's like, yeah, he's like Nick Anderson, eh? I'm like, yeah, Nick Anderson. Like this guy came in and he friggin' tackled his heart out. So, it's very, very special. Now, obviously, there's Niles Morgan, but what about the coaching staff? How did they kind of help you achieve this most outstanding rookie campaign?
They gave me opportunity. And that's been a constant thing in my career. I've always been appreciative for the ones that looked at Nick Anderson and said, regardless of the quote unquote measurables that we're looking for, this guy's a baller and this is the guy that we want on our team, not only because he's a baller, but because of the caliber of person that he is. And that coaching staff truly believed in me from day one. From the first practice to the last practice of training camp, said, Nick Anderson is our guy. This is the guy that we're going with going forward. And even at the beginning of the season, when I still was trying to find my way and navigate and feel the CFL out and get the differences understood, they were always patient with me. They were always available when I had questions, when I was trying to get better, from Coach Shabs to Coach Amir Ishmael to Coach Clun to Coach Jones. I'm so appreciative of Coach Jones, despite, things that people have to say to him. I've had nothing but great interactions with that man. That man came down to Mississippi last year in November and told me about the CFL, told me about Edmonton, told me about his envisionment for my career, and it aligned with what I'd done. Coach Jones called it before I even called it. And
Nice.
he saw that in me, and continue to tell me like, hey man, give the CFL a shot, come up here, just try it out. And I'm so appreciative for that, man. I called him prior to going to Vancouver once the season concluded and just thanked him again because despite everything else, you gave me an opportunity. And I can only judge you off the things that you have done in my life. And it's been nothing but positive. But each and every coach, each and every staff member, medical staff, equipment staff, support team, from the ticket sales people to all the way down to the photographers, just invested in Nick Anderson. They played their role and did their job to the best of their capability so I can have my job be easier, which is being on the field and making plays. But a lot of times guys don't take the time to really understand that so many people around us are doing so many different things just so we can go out here and play a game and do what we love to do. And not only the coaches, but everybody in that organization, I'm so appreciative of, man. So appreciative of.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it trickles down all the way to the fans. We have
Right.
Darren over here in the chat. We love you, Nick, the man with the nose for the football. So it certainly shows, everything. Like I say, it just trickles down all the way to the fans and every single member of the
Right.
organization. But what was it like being in the locker room for that final stretch of the season? I mean,
It it was
the
it
Elks
was
were winning.
amazing. It was amazing. Like I'll never forget winning a game in Sask and everything just flipping because we always had the talent. If you go back and watch those first 7 games, we always had the talent, but things had to just start clicking because we had a lot of young players. We had a lot of guys that had never really played in the CFL. We had a lot of guys that had never really played together. We had a lot of second year guys that weren't true veterans yet to really say, okay, this, that, and the third. But however, they did a great job. I tell everybody, like my boundary boys and Kai Gray and Darius Bratton, those guys helped me so much because I played a different position this past year. Like down south, I played what would be the Mike linebacker in the CFL. The will linebacker in the CFL is more like a hybrid outside linebacker, strong safety type. I had never done that, but I'm a guy that don't never say what I can't do. I just want to learn how I can do it, and so really embrace that. But it took a lot of growing pains through the course of the season, and so to be in that locker room and just see guys continue to show up to work, continue to fight, continuing to say, okay, like this gonna be the game that we get it flipped around. And once things started rolling, it was like, man, we was on fire. And I'll never forget, man, just catching that spark and then, going to Montreal and coming up short. And it hurt me. I was crying after the Montreal game because one thing about me, I hate losing. I hate losing. Like I really hate losing more than I love winning. Like I have a deep hatred for losing, man. I don't like losing. And so to go to Montreal and them be the number one team in the league and to have played them the first time and it was fairly close and we didn't even play well, to go out and play even way better than we did the first time but still come up short. That one was a tough pill to swallow, but I'll never forget, like, Sean Oakman, Niles, um Lou, Chris Moncrief, like just Derek Moncrief just grabbed me around the shoulders and saying, like, bro, like you're gonna be a great player. Like you're getting great. The season not done. Just keep fighting, keep going. I know this won't hurt, but like just keep going. And it just showed the real team that we had, despite everything that was going on outside, despite management and everybody trying to get things situated. We kept going and we kept showing up every day doing our jobs, and that's that culture that's building and progressing and getting back to the standard of the Edmonton Elks.
Well, and we talked to Lou Chaz. We did talk to Lou, pardon me, in at the Grey Cup at the CFLPA
Mhm.
HQ there. We were fortunate enough to talk to Lou, and I had asked him, I'm like, hey man, how was that locker room going through the final stretch, right? Like almost a similar question. And he's like, no, the locker room was tight the whole
It
time.
was. It
Mm.
was.
You guys were brothers in there, right? And then that's honestly, it's something that this organization's been missing, especially the locker room.
Of course.
That bone that we talk about,
Yes.
right?
We
Right.
talk about it a
Right.
lot.
You guys are starting to see that return in the locker room, which is really special. And Larry Thompson has a bit of a hand in that, but to see you, the players, doing it on your own and being that brotherhood and being there for each other and hearing these stories, it just kind of reconfirms and reaffirms,
Mhm.
what we're really hoping is happening.
Mhm.
Right.
The things that we want to see as fans, we want to see you guys be a unit as well. You don't want to see a broken locker room. You don't want to hear the stories. And I mean, sure, right? There's media says whatever, but
Yeah.
these stories from you, the players, it's fantastic to hear. And But yeah, hey, we wish you guys would have won that Montreal one too. We were at Metallica in Commonwealth Stadium, and I was watching the game on the phone. Right, I
Yes.
was watching it. They were in their throwback jerseys there, and I was really, really hoping. And it came down
Mhm.
to once again, like many games this season, off by
Super
a couple
close.
points with a couple minutes. That's
Mhm.
about it. But getting back to the Grey Cup, we were fortunate enough to meet you at the Grey Cup the day after you had won the most outstanding rookie award. You had your mom with you, which was very special. So, how was your Grey Cup experience overall in Vancouver?
It was amazing. I was just jealous the whole time. I'm not gonna lie. I was just jealous of the teams that were there because I knew that we had the talent in Edmonton to be there, and I'm just knowing that if we would have been able to just slip up in the playoffs, we would have made it. But it was a phenomenal experience to really just see the fan base, like to see that realization. Even though I had that realization way in the beginning of the season, but to actually see the fruition of this is the NFL in Canada. This is Canada's
Mhm.
NFL. To see
Mhm.
that it's not something that's like okay, just another league. It's really something that has fans, has investments, have people that really care. But to see the part of it to where everybody treats you human. It's not like nothing like, oh my God, I can't talk to you or anything. Like people treat you with the same respect. People treat you with the same care and concern with that hospitality and that genuine care and love. It was times, I was at Mahoney's and, they would just like pull up a chair, let's have a conversation. I'm like let's do it. Like, bring my mom and I think she got tired of me just walking around and everything. I'm like, man, like I want to be around these fans because without the fans, this doesn't go. Without that support of the fans and the support of the fans with the CFL, with the Edmonton Elks, with each team, we don't have a job. And so to really see that and just be around and just shake hands, take pictures, have laughs, and just have that interaction, that fellowship with all the fans and everybody, it was nothing short of amazing.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? That pull up a chair and let's shoot the breeze. I think I had heard that you were in the building around 3 or 4 times in different buildings we were at, and
Yes.
I'm like, oh,
We're like,
where's
oh,
Nick
we just
Anderson?
missed him.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, I really hope we see Nick Anderson. Like I said it a couple times, right?
Yes.
And you're right. The CFL is the Canadian NFL.
Right,
Mhm.
The CFL is actually, I think, technically older than
right,
the
Mhm.
NFL, right? It is,
Mhm.
in a
right,
way, the original form of football.
right,
Gridiron football was invented in Canada. So,
right,
I mean,
Yes.
it's interesting to see, obviously, how both
Mhm.
leagues have gone their separate paths, but at the same time, you have 50 to 60,000 fans
Mhm.
come down on a city and just go all party with each other. And it's there's no hardcore intense rivalries. Like we don't read each other that bad. We did not go into Stamp's house. I don't know if that's
out,
coincidental or
out of
what.
yeah.
principle, out of principle, we did not step foot in the Stamps house. But yes, no, definitely. If that's one thing that I know for sure about CFL fans is that you put them in the room together, and suddenly you have a room of family.
Yeah.
It
Right.
was we were in a room and we turned around and we had a table of around 15 people and all the 15 people had a different jersey on.
Yeah.
And we were just all sitting, everybody representing their colors, and it was really, really cool. But um well, I do want to bring up a
We
comment here before we move
we do
on
have
to
a
the next
section
one.
for the
Oh,
questions.
it's not a
Okay.
question, it's just a comment.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
From Clay here, he says, "Can Hervey sign Nick to a 10-year extension and ensure he's an elk for life? He's the kind of guy Edmonton deserves and this league needs." We
Man,
all
I
agree.
I appreciate that, man. And since he brought that up, man, there's definitely been some conversations, with me, trying to definitely be in Edmonton. Like I said, I really love the city, love the fan base. Really appreciate the fans. Even when we were 0-7 in the beginning of the year, people kept showing up, and that just shows the loyalty and that just shows the real love and the want to that of the community that we have around us in Edmonton. And you don't find that at other places. You really don't find that. And so for Edmonton to be a city that gave Nick Anderson an opportunity, I'm a loyal guy. That's just how I am. Like I said, I'm gonna believe in those that believe in me. And it's really something that I'm really hoping can get done, is that we can get it rolling and I can be at Edmonton Elk for a long period of time. And so just praying that we go ahead and get things done with management. My agent's been in talks about trying to see what we can do. But like I said, man, like I'm really appreciative of the franchise, and I'm a guy that doesn't shy away from things that are difficult. I'm a guy that, if you look at my track record, I come in and I do my due diligence of what I can do to help flip programs. When I was at Tulane, we weren't where we are now, and I was able to just help be a part of bringing things together so we can go and flip the script and go out AAC champs, go out with the Cotton Bowl win, and just being at the Grey Cup and seeing the trophy. I haven't even touched it. I said specifically, even when it was in Edmonton, I said, man, I don't want to touch the trophy until I'm hosting it up. And so that's really one of the things that I really want to bring to that city, because just seeing the fans and just seeing the community is something that they deserve to have. And next year will be 10 years since Edmonton has had one, and I'm really just hoping that we can get something done to keep me a part of the organization, so we can go out there and do that, bring that back to the city. Especially with that's been the thing, Ed coming home and people coming back, and I'm just hoping that
Mhm.
we can get things done so I can be a piece of bringing that culture, that standard back to the city of Edmonton.
Find me a wall right
I
now. I
love
gotta
it.
run through it.
I love it. Let's bring Nick the Grey Cup so that he can touch it
Yes.
for the first time. Let's make it happen.
Oh, so good. And I mean, faith is part of that. We have faith in Nick Anderson, but Nick Anderson also has faith, spelled with a one in there. So faith is something you've often tweeted and posted about, and you have a venture called Faith LLC. So can you tell us more about what faith means to you?
Faith to me is so many different things. It's the spearhead of my life. I'm a man of spiritual faith, a man of just mental faith. Really have that really belief system that plays a role in me being able to excel on the field. And so I decided to use that and let that be my brand. And faith, the acronym stands for Furthering Athletes First Through Hope. And just something that I wanted to really establish to help people in the community and help athletes in the community really understand that purpose, beyond just being an athlete, and helping them with that, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and just being able to grow themselves and advance themselves so they can reach their full potential. Because I know it's many people that played into my life, that played into my development as a person, as a player, as a man. And I want to be able to do that same thing for the youth. And I'm just big on giving back, big on community service, and I decided to come up with faith to really get that out there. So yeah, it's something that has been developed, and I'm trying to grow and get it done.
I love that too, because I mean we've had former Double E alumni, or former Double E player, current Double E alumni, uh, Garrick Jones on the show, and Garrick Jones was also big about
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, doing things like that. We see a lot of the players such as Niles Morgan. He has
Mhm.
his
Right,
own program here in Edmonton as well. Recommend everybody check it out. But it's cool to see
Mhm.
our players and our alumni do initiatives such as this, right?
right,
Um, and I mean, you signed the card with that faith. Obviously, knew that that was something that's really big to you, and paying it forward and giving back to our communities. That's kind of what this franchise
Mhm.
is immediately getting back to, right?
Mhm.
And to have
right.
somebody like yourself doing the same down there, and that's it. That's at Vicksburg, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it's amazing to see. We're gonna follow and share the heck out of that as much as we possibly can. Um, but let's let's get into some holiday questions, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Let's
time
do
for the
it.
fun questions now.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
It is the holiday season after all. So
tis the
we
season.
we must ask, what are your traditions over the holidays?
Gingerbread houses. Gingerbread houses is the one thing that my family has always done. We've always made a gingerbread house the night before Christmas, and so that's been one of our biggest holiday traditions. We never did the elf situation. I do want to do that with my kids. I feel like that's a pretty fun thing to do. But just gingerbread houses, and also going out in the community the week of Christmas to feed people, feed the needy, and also feed the fire departments, the police departments, and then the ambulance, the first responders. That's something that we always do, and so those are things that we do for to really bring in the Christmas holiday.
That's
I love it.
that's gonna tear up a little
That's
bit
so
over here.
wholesome.
It's very, very wholesome. Now, if there's one Christmas movie that you must watch every year, if you could only watch one, let's say every year, what would it be?
The Polar Express, and saying that I'm shaking my head because I have not watched it yet, but that just hit my mind that I definitely gotta watch the Polar Express. It was my favorite kids movie growing up. It's essential, man. I definitely gotta go watch that one. I'll probably watch it tonight, honestly.
I
Nice.
love it. I've actually never watched it, so
I have. I'm more of a Christmas Vacation, National Lampoons guy, but once again,
Okay.
that's because I grew up watching that with my family every year as well, right?
yeah. No, definitely. And if you could ask Santa for 3 gifts right now, what would you
Three
ask for?
gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. If I could ask Santa for 3 gifts, what would that be? That's a great question. I would say a vehicle, but luckily I just got one, so I can't say a vehicle. Um, I would say a true opportunity for my little brother to be able to go play college football, because everything that's going on with the transfer portal is kind of tough on high school kids getting recruited. So I would say a true opportunity for him to go and play football, because that's something that he desires to do. Um, for myself, I would say not to be cliche, but to get things situated with Edmonton, so
Yeah.
we can go win this cup.
I love
Um,
it. So it's
and-
yeah, it's definitely a Grey Cup. You're asking for a Grey Cup under that
yeah,
tree
great
this year.
cup. And then my third thing, probably, what do I want? Oh man, it's tough because everything I want, I just try to find a way to get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
My third thing, hmm, got the, oh, my third thing would be, I really want a game room. Like, I don't even play the game that much, but I have a place in the house that I have all my accolades and things like that. So if I just had like a solid man cave, that would be perfect to put everything in. And that's really it. That's all I can. That's all I can come
I
up with. But if I could ask Santa for that, that's probably would be what I asked for. And it would have been a truck, but luckily I was able to get a vehicle. And so yeah, that's it.
So it's kind of
I
funny,
love
right?
it. I love it.
I'm a bit of a similar mind in that sense. I have a full games room over at my place with arcade and pool and darts and N64 and everything else. So in a
Poker
way,
table,
poker
all
table.
just
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures, man.
Okay.
Because yeah, same deal with all my accolades, my refrigeration red seal, and everything else. It's all down there. Signed Warren Moon jersey, all the goodies. So yeah, I'll definitely send you some shots to give you some ideas for your games room. Um,
Appreciate you.
I love it.
number
I feel like I'm not okay. I don't want anything to say for that, but I feel like every man should have their own game room. Like, I
yes,
feel like for me, it's a library, right? I mean, if you can see my shirt, it says books, 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 books. So, if I could have my little corner with just a big library. But, when it comes down to the gaming and that space, it's like, yeah, everybody should have their own little
Right.
space that is just theirs, that
yeah.
is just what they want to see, that it brings a smile to their face whenever you walk into that room.
Right.
Even Edmonton Sports Talk just got a little deal with Playmore Tables and Games and got their own arcade as well.
See,
So
everybody
everybody wants a games
needs
room,
it.
right?
Everybody gets a games room from Santa.
But okay, last holiday question. Then we're gonna get to herd chat questions. So everybody that is currently watching, please make sure you get your questions into the herd chat here for Nick. We are running a little bit over on time, so I'll
Yeah,
try to
we'll
get
get this.
through this. What is your number one go-to holiday treat besides gingerbread?
Mm. Go to holiday treat aside from gingerbread. Um, I tried eggnog for the first time this year.
Okay, and what'd you think?
It's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Nice.
So I'm gonna put eggnog on the list. Even though I don't really drink like that, I like it. It has a very unique flavor. So I feel like it's a holiday drink. So why not? So we're gonna go with eggnog.
But if
I
it's
love
not eggnog, it's probably gingerbread, right?
Yeah, it's probably gingerbread houses, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, uh, as a kid, we used to put the gingerbread houses up and say that we're gonna leave them for Santa. And then once I realized Santa wasn't, I don't know how many kids watching, but I used to wake up and take a bite out of it. so, so yeah, I'm never gonna go to the gingerbread house because I'm like, man, if Santa hasn't showed up to do it, I'm just gonna get a head start on it before he gets here.
I love it.
That's
I
so
love it.
good. So good. I love it. All right, we
Alright.
do have some herd chat questions here. We have Clay from Argos Fancast. What up, Clay? What's Nick's favorite present he's ever gotten for Christmas?
For my 11th Christmas, I got a guitar. Um, and it was crazy because at the time I really loved Camp Rock, really loved the Jonas Brothers. So being in Vancouver and seeing the Jonas Brothers in person was amazing to me because like the little kid in me was so excited. But I ended up getting a guitar. I wanted a guitar. After seeing Camp Rock, I was like, I need a guitar. Like Nick Jonas, Nick Anderson, like nobody could tell me I wasn't Nick Jonas. Like despite everything, the physical traits, I was like, I am Nick Jonas. And so I wanted a guitar, and so that was the biggest thing. My granddad ended up buying me a nice black guitar, and then everybody got tired of me running around the house. So the guitar just magically disappeared after like 6 months, and I was like, "What is?" But I guess everybody got tired of me, man. To this day, they won't tell me what happened to it. But yeah, that black guitar was my best Christmas gift.
Still thinking about it. I love it. I love it.
Well, now we know, Mama Anderson, if you are watching, Nick would like a guitar.
Preferably in black. From our good friend Sinjin here in the herd chat. What up, Sinjin? Favorite moment / play from the Double E that wasn't your own play this season?
I have a couple, but if I just gotta pick one, I'm going to say the last overtime game versus Toronto when Niles made the tackle to get us off the field. That was my favorite play because everybody on the sideline had kept telling us about the tackles. Like we couldn't ignore it because every time we get to the sideline, you got this many, you got this many, you got this many, you got this many. And so I knew I was ahead, but I was like, man, like that guy works his tail off. And so when he was able to make that tackle, I knew we tied. And so I was like, I was in the back, like, because I'm like, man, like I want him to get something, especially with him being in the league and they don't really give him his recognition that they really should. For him to have that, I was happy for him. Even if you watch the video and I was like, we tied, I was happy for him because it's like now you really got another part of history, bro, and you deserve it. You worked hard and you've been through a lot, and so that was one of my favorite moments from the year for sure. Just having him be with me at the top.
Well, and it was crazy too because I remember going to the washroom. I'm looking up at the TV. I see that we turn the ball over. Toronto gets it back, right? Everybody leaves. Like, very disappointing to see everybody leave with like a minute and a half
yeah.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, I look at the TV. I'm frustrated. I'm like, here we go. And then I walk back down and I see that it's third down.
Yeah.
Right.
All of a sudden, you guys did it, right? It was like,
Yeah.
holy cow, boys, let's go, let's go. We got life, let's go.
Yeah,
That's
right.
why we never leave until the zeros are on the clock.
That's-
You never know
That
what's
is
gonna
the
happen.
rule. Exactly. It's the CFL. We've seen crazy things happen in the span of a minute and a half. And obviously, we know how that game ended.
Mhm.
Mr. Rouge, most valuable Rouge, does it again and punts it out of there. And yeah, and I mean, if you were there for that ending, that's the thing too. That was one of the most exciting endings to the game
Oh, it
I've
was
seen in a hot minute.
it was
Kathy,
a wild.
unfortunately,
I
didn't even
wasn't
get to be
there,
there.
but I was watching, and that was a wild game. So
Just wild.
I was
Right.
thankful.
We do have a couple more questions here, if you're
Mhm.
privy, Nick. Nick, who is the toughest running back you faced last year? That's coming in from Darren Popovich.
I got to go with a tie between Kerry and go with a tie between Montreal Alouettes running
Fletcher.
Fletcher, shifty back, great receiver. Like I gotta go with those two. Those two were the toughest backs that faced this past season.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Fletcher, former double E, and then Kadeem Carey. He ended up winning a Grey Cup, right? So
Yeah.
that's I think that's fair.
That's very fair.
Very fair. Ryan N here in the herd chat. I believe that might be Ryan Nervous. Shout out Ryan either way. How big of a learning curve was it for the rules of the CFL? How was that adjustment?
It took a minute. It took a minute to just get adjusted. I remember the first practice, I was lining up on the line of scrimmage, didn't know you had to give a yard, and everybody yelling at me to get back. And I'm looking at everybody, like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, why are we so far off the ball? And so it just took things like that and being able to see the motions and receiver motions, the waggles and things. It was pretty, it took some growing pains, like I said, but over the course of the season, I was a natural.
Adjusting to the waggle must have been
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
one of the toughest parts, right? That pre-snap motion.
yeah, it was tough, but over the course of the season, like I said, I had a great group around me, great coaching staff that was able to put me in positions to know what to look for and know what to do to put myself in great positions to make plays.
Mhm.
Love it. And
No, that's
then
great.
CFL chatter here in the herd chat. He will
Is it
win a
coming?
most outstanding defensive player award very soon. So
It'll happen.
shout out CFL chatter in the herd chat. All right, we do have two last questions for you here, Nick.
Okay.
We did kind of touch base on this already, but you're already loved by Double E fans and CFL fans, as we're seeing in the herd chat and at the Grey Cup. Now, the Edmonton Elks organization has made some changes that the fans are also loving as well.
Mhm.
So, have you had much contact with the new head coach, Mark Killam, GM Ed
Yeah.
Hervey, or President Chris Morris?
Yes, I haven't met the president yet, but I have.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh no.
is it us? Is it Nick?
I don't know. It might be. I think it's Nick because we're still alive. So
We are still live.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no, I hope his phone didn't die. Oh, we killed Nick's phone.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, let's
Well-
we can hide him for now while we wait for him to return to the stream.
Oh yeah, he
He out.
he out. That's
Well,
okay.
He can definitely join back in. I'll shoot him a message. But ladies and gents, thanks a lot for tuning in tonight. Obviously, we have a slight technical difficulty here with Saint Nick, aka Nick Anderson,
That's
number
okay. It
48
happens.
of the Edmonton. It happens.
It happens.
It happens. We only did have one more question after that, but he
Well.
was in the middle of answering that one and it was really good. So we'll try to get him back on here to the show right away. Also, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight.
Clay over here in the chat.
Elks
The Elks
did.
didn't want him to give
God.
up any secrets. Nope.
God.
Nope.
Well, it's funny too. That was like my one spicy question I was trying to get in there. I was like, yeah, let's do like let's do a juicy question. And then we had
that
another
was a
one.
no.
No, the football gods and the double E gods are like, nope, smite that stream. Rather
find out.
unfortunate.
That's okay.
It's not a Christmas miracle. It's
Yeah.
the opposite. But no, but we do greatly appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Obviously, here on the 2024 Elks Call Holiday Special,
Mhm.
we do have a giveaway.
Yes.
So let's do a quick giveaway here while we wait for the return of Nick Anderson.
Mhm.
Just tell him no big deal. He can join up if he wants. But yeah, let's scroll on down there.
Okay.
So-
Jen in the chat. Larry said no.
Larry said no, but that was exactly. No, the double E have been really, really good with us
no,
having
yes,
guests on. So
Great.
I will say big shout out to the double E and Mike Arcuri for having us have guests on the show this season. the Edmonton Elks have been fantastic and
Oh yeah.
cooperating with us on stuff like this. So
And we
can't.
couldn't have had a better guest for today. How wholesome is Nick Anderson? He is the perfect guest for a holiday special.
Well, and it's also really special to hear players embracing the double E way.
Hmm.
He's even saying like, "Hey, I want to make it back up to Edmonton here right away." Now, let's not kid ourselves. I think he does have some opportunities ahead of him, right? So we'll see what happens here in the off season with Nick Anderson. We're gonna ask him about that if we can get him back on. But yeah, I mean, overall, he's another player that embodies the double E winning
Hmm.
ways. Wants to just get the franchise back on its feet, which is amazing. Came in with like a no lose attitude, right?
Hmm.
Sinjin here in the Herd Chat, our organization, has got much better with community
Hmm.
engagement as well. And they really have been. They're instantly trying to make an impact in the community. I don't know if anybody saw the Trent Brown, James H. Brown Christmas video that just recently
Yes.
came out, but every year Trent Brown will take a big group of children, most likely in need, and they get to go shopping with the Edmonton Elks or Evander Kane or whoever. And
Hmm.
and it's also good to see Trent Brown having faith in the organization like that again,
Hmm.
simply because I think it's very obvious that he was one of those that was not thrilled with the direction of the organization.
Yeah.
Now we have Ed Hervey back,
Yeah.
so that's very special. We will talk about those changes here in the herd report coming up. So we'll dig into that in a moment.
Hmm.
How about we do a giveaway?
Let's do it.
Um, let's give away a CFLPA Royal Retros hat. So this will be the second one we're giving away on the Elks Call 2024. Probably the last one we will be giving away it, as a whole. How do you win this? How do you win this Royal Retro
How do you
CFLPA
win it? How do you win it?
2025 CFLPA All Star hat? Well, you're gonna text retro to 780-307-7779. It's retro to 780-307-7779. Go ahead and text retro and we will enter you for this hat. Now, if you want an extra entry, and we have 3 giveaways tonight, if
Oh,
you'd like three, we're giving away all of the merchandise we have here, babe.
all of it.
Yeah. um, Text retro 780-307-7779. And if you want an extra entry, you're going to go ahead, subscribe to Shotgun Sports Network, send us a screenshot of the new subscription.
Oh.
Nick Anderson has rejoined us. Nick
My
Anderson.
apologies.
Oh no, it's all good. I was
Oh,
trying to
my
text
apologies.
you and run a promo at the same time, and I was like, man, like I need to get back to Nick. Sorry, Nick.
I'm
Things
so sorry.
happen.
I ran into some technical difficulties, but we all good right here.
It happens. It's happened to us before, and yeah, we know how it
Yeah,
goes.
it happens. We were taking the blame anyways. It's all our fault. But yeah, getting back to it. Sorry, who did you have some communication with out of the new changes again?
Most definitely. So I've met the president, not the president, the owner, multiple
Right.
times. He's a great guy. Oh my God, he's a great guy. Just like you can tell, he's one of those guys that really had a genuine love for the organization and really is appreciative to have the opportunity to own it. And that's really big because it shows that he's gonna have that deep passion for making sure things are done the right way. And as a player, to know that you have somebody like that at the top, it knows that you're taken care of. And so that's one of the things that I was really happy. I haven't had the chance to meet the new president yet, but I know he's a guy that played for Edmonton, and so he has that level of standard of where he wants the organization to go because he's won a great cup there. I have talked with the general manager. Me and him had a great conversation about what he wants my piece to be going forward in the organization. And like I said, him and my agent have been had their fair share of talks in regards to things about my future in Edmonton and hoping we can get things with that. And then the coach, Coach Keelan, he actually called me. I never forget talking to him after we played the Calgary game, and he actually reminded me. But after the Calgary game, a guy came up to me. He was like, "Man, like you a hell of a player. Really love the way that you play the game and have a respect for your game. And it was him, and he reminded me, and I remember like that distinctly, like yes, that was you. And so me and him talked, and he told me that my future is bright when it comes to the organization. And so to know that I have guys in top places that see my potential and see what I bring to the table is something that I just am appreciative of as a player, and just want to do my best to continue to excel, continue to grow, continue to be the leader that the team needs in order for us to reach the success that we're chasing after.
Hmm.
Love it, love it. And Mark Killam, there's so many people that talk highly, speak highly of
Definitely,
Mark Killam.
including players, and that's probably the best way of knowing what an organization is going to be if the players themselves think very highly of their head coach.
Well, and
So,
I mean, even Aaron Singleton coming out and saying, "Hey, when are the Go Elks gonna announce Mark Killam in as head coach?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, what is this?" Right? So it's cool to see what a fit. It's cool to see that you remember those interactions and that
Right.
he makes those kind of impacts in small capacities, but really it's a lasting impact. And now he's
Mhm.
your head coach. So it's very it, it's really assuring to know that the organization is still like those pieces of the organization are still communicating with you, still talking, still keeping those lines open, because obviously we're going to want to see you back here at training camp. But for the final question, let's talk about your off season a little bit. We're not going to take too much more of your time. This is your last question here. We really appreciate the fact that you've been with us for an hour here, Nick. So I
It's no
apologize for
problem.
running over, man, but
No, it's no problem.
I really appreciate it. Now, what's in store for Nick Anderson between now and Elks Training Camp 2025?
Just day by day, man, taking everything day by day. Um, as we, know the NFL will come with its fair share of opportunities. I've had some talks with different teams. And obviously, like that's a dream of every player is to play on that level. But like I said, being a kid that all he knew was the NFL, and then to be shown the CFL is really expanding my horizons to where I'm really just focused on how I can be in the best situation for me. And that's what I'm looking at. And that's what the things that are on my mind as far as going forward to making the decision that's going to extend my career and make sure that I'm in a great situation to do what I have to do to be successful in the best way. And like I said, I'm open to coming back to Edmonton if things don't pan out the way that I feel like they should pan out for my career with the NFL. And I already told y'all, man, Edmonton's home for me. It's a place that I look at like Tulane now, like a place that
Mhm.
I want to bring success to, a place that I got my footing in, and I want to continue to grow that each and every opportunity that I get. And so I'm looking at last year, and I'm just that guy. Like I told you, the things that I was able to do last year were remarkable. I did a lot of great things, but I'm not stopping at that. I have so much more ahead. I was telling somebody yesterday that was like, man, you're in your prime. I'm like, I haven't even finished the P in prime yet. I have so much more that I'm wanting to do with my career on and off the field. And I really just, if I'm blessed to be in a position to have that longevity and have the opportunity to get things extended and going in Edmonton, I really want to take full advantage of that and hit the ground running. And like I said, the Standard is a great cup, man. Just like I said at
Mhm.
Tulane before we won the championship, I said, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what is he talking about? They only won 2 games last year, and he's talking about an American championship. I feel like you have to set standards, you have to set goals, and you have to be very direct in what your goal is. Other than that, you're just talking. And so I know for a fact that if I'm blessed to come back to Edmonton and play next year, the standard is a Grey Cup. The standard isn't, okay, let's make the playoffs. So okay, let's just be number one in the division, or let's get above 500 for the first time, or get double digit wins. The standard is winning the Grey Cup. Like anything under that, it would not be, I won't be a happy camper. And so that's one of the things that I really want to bring to that city. I feel like the fans deserve it. I feel like the players deserve it from the work that we put in, day out. And I feel like it's something that's very obtainable. And that's what my focus is on. And so the next off season is preparation for the success to come during the season, because as of right now I'm on the Edmonton Elks contract, and so my focus is on being the best that I can be to be at Edmonton Elk. And if something comes in that to where I can't turn it down, then okay, we sit down and we see what that looks like and adjust it as such. But right now my focus is on bettering myself and being the best version of Nick Anderson I can be, so I can contribute to this organization.
Love it, man.
Love it.
Absolutely. Patch that hole in the wall and let me run through it again.
Let's do it again.
St. John here says it best. If you get the opportunity, take it.
Mhm.
We will support you wherever you go, but no, we are always here. And Edmonton, as you kind of know by now, we've seen the Brandon Zylstras move on to the NFL, the Warren Moons. This organization, it really is a stepping stone for fantastic, talented athletes such as yourself. And I saw a couple comments like, hey, try to keep him in Edmonton. Like, hey, can we keep him in Edmonton? And obviously we know that, our fellow fans here aren't saying this in a selfish way. The fan base genuinely loves you.
Yes.
You're a beacon here for this organization, and especially on the rise up of the Double E. You're part of that changing of the narrative. You're part of the turn page, right? So, Nick, we know that this has been quite a bit here tonight, so we will let you continue onward with your holiday season here. But man, we can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. This is fantastic.
I appreciate you all for having me, man. It was a true blessing to be on. I wouldn't have rather spent my Thursday night doing anything else than talking ball and talking about the city of Edmonton. So I'm very thankful for you all for having me on here.
Thankful for
Awesome.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. I can't wait to see you back here in Edmonton potentially. And if those opportunities are out there, we will be cheering you on every single step of the way. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and yours. Thanks again for joining us, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Likewise. Merry Christmas, man. God bless y'all.
Happy
Cheers.
night.
God bless. And that will conclude another best of episode from the Elks Call Season 2. If you enjoy what you see and like what you hear, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and favorite button. We thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget to head over to royalretros.com and use code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces, to save 10% off on throwback CFL jerseys and official CFL PA merchandise. And stay tuned to Shotgun Sports Network for another episode of the Elks Call in the near future. Until then, my name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X, with the Elks Herd, and we will see you all again soon. Cheers, everybody.